Let's continue playing Heaven Will Be Mine. Um, we've done the Lunatera route, and then we've done the Saturn route. There's another route we can do. It is the Pluto route. Let's do that. You know, again, this game is visual novel. I don't know. It's just confusing. I think it's because of the writing. The writing just confuses me sometimes. Sometimes I'm just not sure, you know, where it's going, you know, in this direction, and that confuses me, maybe. I don't know what it is exactly. But, I imagine, though, because Pluto, no, this character, the implication is that she's like a super psychic, right? You know? So I imagine this is gonna be even more confusing, if I had to guess. But, well, let's see. Cradle's Grace's ultimate weapon pilot. Even if Earth has given up on a new life for humanity in space, Cradle's Grace's hasn't. And Pluto will make that dream come true. Yes. Let's do that. Now Pluto. And imagine, a lot of text. I imagine, because I've done very specific things in the Lunatera route and the Saturn route, this route, you know, I'll probably pick very specific decisions just in order just to see new stuff, right? Because it seems like, you know, their scenes kind of like overlap and everything. So yeah, that's what I'm probably gonna do. Probably, hopefully, get like an ending. Because the way I think it works, I'm not entirely sure, but it seems like it, is that by choosing different factions within the routes themselves, you get slightly different endings based on the other three characters, if I had to guess. You know, they kind of overlap. So it's kind of like 3 endings within 3 routes, you know? So like, I guess 3 times 3, like 9 endings in total, technically, but they're probably like very slight variations of those same endings within those same character routes, if I had to guess. But anyway. Okay, so anyway, so there's a lot of text. Is not the unknown, the perception of impossible things. Okay, this is the middle of just a paragraph. And every distance in between. With perfect communication, breath to breath, with perfect communication, skin to skin, with perfect communication, mouth to mouth, inside to inside, blood to blood, with perfect understanding across the bonds of culture, perfect understanding across the boundaries of culture, with perfect access to the realization of the highest ideals, with perfect access to the acceptance of the deepest depths, the solar system maps the human body. The solar system maps culture. In the center is the sun, which is synthesis. With the physical bodies of the solar system become our home, our ship through the universe, our body. Their names will be given again from the name of a rock, such as Hades, to the name of a part of us and ourselves, such as Pluto. Yeah, I was wondering, like, sometimes the planets are named after, I mean, well, they already are, I guess. Like, named after, like, Greek mythology and everything, right? Like, they're named after gods. So I guess, or is it the other way around? I don't know. Maybe, anyway. You are the sun. Through you, humans will possess their true body. As you were once born through us, we too wish, you know. Gets cut off. I was wondering about, yeah, they mentioned the sun, by the way. I don't think throughout the entire story of the other routes, they don't really say anything about the sun. Like, because when you think gravity, right? The center of gravity in the universe, at least our universe, is the sun. But they never really mention that. Base override system interrupt. Pluto. Hi, Doctor. I lost you for a moment there. Are you okay? I'm fine, Doctor. This is the first interface of its kind. If there's anything unusual about it, that'll be hard to tell. Because by definition, it is very unusual. I'll let you know if it feels especially unusual, Nix. Good. Let me know if something categorically impossible happens. Like what? If your sink got so deep that your thoughts were being dumped into the OS code directly, for example. If that happens, I'll let you know. Okay, so I guess her mind can literally just be uploaded, you know, and fused into the computer. Is that how it works? Are you ready to begin? I've been ready for a long time. Begin activation test. Macula firmware loading. Dual tidal reactor syncing. Welcome to Cradle's Grace's bootloader, version 5.66911123. Oh why can't I? Bootlegging gravitational reactor done. Hyperdensity established. Beginning residence test. You should feel lightheadedness and wait. Wait until you're comfortable before diving in. Correct action, correct thought. Correct belief, existing without fault. Existing without ever harming the universe, to be the execution of what is right and good. The power over distance is also the power to harm. Harm by thinking, harm by breathing, harm by loving, harm by touching, harm by culture, harm by boundaries, harm by idealism, harm by depression, harm by infinity. Okay. If I had to guess, these kind of like, what do we call it? Like, there's a word for this, blocks of text, I guess is a word for that. I can't remember the word. I imagine this is kind of like an unusual way of communicating information, I guess, because normally when you think of a computer, they think like, again, like bootlegging, gravitational reactor, 1%, 2%, but now it's kind of like, the macula, or the macula, how you say it? Cradle, I forget what the name is, but macula something. The way it communicates to its user, it's a little, I guess, abstract as well, in terms of like words. They use words instead of like numbers, maybe. I don't know. Well, let us talk of the harm by infinity. If the ninth planet of the solar system is not a planet, it's because it represents the point at which humans cross over into which they are not. Ninth planet? A phenomenon that is in itself existentially threatening, regardless of how or if that phenomenon manifests. That is to see a possibility itself. All hopes and fear will... Pluto, how was the response? I'm doing great. Nothing weird. Nothing weird. Like a computer, I accept it. All data, I accept it. All wishes, I accept them. I'm an infinite engine. I'm a star. I know exactly how. Execute and accept. System, accepting and executing. Reactor cores, perfect resonance. No margin of error. Nix, you can hear me, right? Loud and clear, Pluto. Is it working? You're not saying anything. It's working perfectly. Flawless. On the first try. You really are the one who brings impossible things. You're thinking too hard about it, Doctor. I can't do things like that. Be a little more generous to yourself. But it's also your right not to be. Pilot core link, done. Do you feel centered? Yes. Do you feel the phantom presence of the ship's limbs? This is normal? Yes. The phantom pain. Do you feel the presence of other bodies, of other people, nearby? Is normal? Yes. Do you feel as if other nearby people or bodies may also be your own body? This is not normal. You shouldn't feel that you're other people, I guess. How would I know the difference? Fair. Do you feel like a god yet? Not really. There's no need to be modest. Prep for launch. It hasn't been that long since we all started fighting, but everything really did just go how I imagined it. Even holding the controls of the machine everyone's so scared of, just like this, doesn't feel like butterflies or dread. It just feels like the only thing that could have happened. You know how hard they worked because they were scared you wouldn't be finished before the end? I never doubted it. I'm not so special that they couldn't make something scary enough for me to be its pilot. Humans are culture, and culture is gravity. A ship self is a skin, but a ship self is also a heart. The plastic and metal chassis, insulated against hard vacuum, is necessary to not die. The tidal reactor, which generates the gravity and culture necessary to keep humans solid and real so far from Earth, is necessary to live. Okay, for once they're actually explaining a few terms actually. The ship self, not just like a giant robot, but also like a personification, like a physical manifestation of your own soul, if I had to guess. And the tidal reactor is like what you need to like stay in space, The dual tidal reactor resonance system installed in the macula then might be capable of a sort of birth. Dual time. It's like it's like dual cores in your CPU. I remember a time, when CPUs just only had like 2 cores. Now it has like 8 cores, 12 cores. That's normal now. It's crazy. The macula was completed on the inert pseudoplanet Hades, on the boundary between the solar system ruled by human gravity and that which isn't. When the system is activated, cosmic dust emanating from between the ship cell's palms is crushed in the friction of the computing forces of the macula's dual tidal reactors and ignites in the birth of a tiny star. It's a start, an anchor of gravity and culture, for humans to begin colonizing the stars, the seed of possibility, and just as easily the seed of the inversion of possibility. Stars go supernova and become black holes, where the information of life, culture, is deleted. But they aren't afraid of Carmichaela as much as they are afraid of Pluto. Her own tidal forces destroyed the first 17 prototypes. It's the girl with the love to be the mother of the stars they're afraid of. Oh, the person. Apparently, she tried to control other, I guess, giant robots, but it didn't work. She's too powerful, I guess. Don't build me up like that. I'm not that special. But I am that scary. I'm used to it. The only thing I just can't get over is just how unfair it all feels. Also, she didn't read the narration. If I had to get, in the Saturn route, when we were interacting with Pluto, I think they mentioned that, right? How the more psychically aware you are, the more you're aware that you're in a visual novel. I guess I don't know. Knowing how bad this could get, how wrong it could go, it's still happening anyway. The Cradle is bigger than other ship cells in terms of its objective gravitational impression on space-time. Yeah, I am feeling everything at once, but I'm feeling big too. Feeling so big. I can feel it, far and away. The sword of the real, mere Chrysium, come to cut our dreams down, and the toxin of the inverse, string of pearls, come to turn the earth inside out. They're incredible girls, I can tell, but now Cradle's Graces has the power to fight back and keep space our home forever. I know I'm meant to do this. I've been trained my whole life to be the one in a million who can pilot this. I know I want to do this. Space is the only place where everyone can be happy, even if almost no one believes it. I want to keep it safe. I know what I need to do. I know what I need to do. I know what I need to do. Now I just have to do it. That's nothing compared to what it took to learn how. My body, my mind, my soul, they're all in order. I just have to do it. Okay. Again, the 3 messages we get from the 3 factions. Again, because it's in an alternate future, with the Cold War and everything, I guess. But it stopped the Cold War to fight the existential threat, and everyone went to space and everything. But then, as it turns out, fighting the existential threat is, they believe anyway, that it's useless. What's the point? So then the 3 factions, again, separated. Once again. With 3 different goals. Slightly different UI. I mean, the biggest change of the UI is just the color, I guess. Check the mail. Unacceptable! Cradle's Graces Formation Archives. Dr. Nix. The funding's being cut again. They aren't getting the results they want. They think it's indulgent. They don't care about how the kids feel. It warms their hearts to see them grow unimpeded by the gravity of Earth, but it also disturbs them. They love our beautiful, free, glittering children, but when we talk about bringing Earth's children here, they look away. The children of space are not bound by the same laws of gravity, and do as they like with their bodies and souls. You have insisted that it can endure the gravitational forces of Earth, but have you considered that their tidal forces do not wish to accommodate them? They will be smoothed back again or broken. At the very least, they will never stop trying to destroy them. We have created magnificent, delicate creatures, and Earth wants them back for what? To crush them again under their own tidal forces? Xeon? This is probably the most Xeon faction, sort of, at least in terms of its ideology. Everyone just leave Earth and just stay in space, right? Is the idea? The space is better. Earth sucks. Everyone go to space. Who is this? Ambient title information: a love story. I don't know who I'm sending this to, but I think about you all the time. In the back of my mind, I know a lot about you. Does that mean you know about me too? Or are you just glowing brightly in a way that I don't understand? Is anyone else seeing this? You get messages like this all the time? Are you aware of how much you loom in the heart of someone you haven't met? What I'm expecting, I don't even know. This is really awkward. Sorry for this. I must be really hard. No, I can't really know that. This is delusional for me. I'm gonna make it stop, because if I don't, I'm going to come to hate you. Because I'm already so frustrated, I'm nothing like you. I need to understand why I tear myself apart thinking of you. I'm not going to send this. I don't know how to send this, and I hope you never read it. Well, I imagine just ambient title information is just like a random email that's supposed to be deleted, I guess, or something. I don't know. Or just random thoughts of a person somehow being communicated to Pluto. Mars. I think we saw him before. I still can't believe it. I felt that from here. The Generation 2 pilot, first class. DM's open for fight requests. Oh. I'm thankful for my Cradle's graces, but we're not coming back. Oh, that's the same slogan, you know, every time we pick the choice, that's the slogan for Cradle's graces. Yeah, what was it like? It was incredible. For a moment, I felt like I was right next to you. It was even stronger than all the times that you tested the prototypes. Stronger than the one time they let you fight before. It's amazing. I've been training for so long, I never knew how different it would feel to have my own perfectly suited just for me ship self. I'm gonna be extra mad at all of you for how long you left me behind. Is it really safe though? Mars, don't start, I'll get mad. It's just more powerful than anything that's ever been developed. I don't like that Dr. Nix is making you do something untested all by yourself. No one person should have to do all the things that your unit is expected to do. But I'm strong enough to do it, right? Powerful enough to stop Earth from taking us back. Strong enough to stop celestial mechanics from bringing the existential threat back. Okay, so I always get confused what celestial mechanics wants to do. So I mean that confirms that they want, you know, they want the aliens to come back basically, or at least turn themselves into aliens or something. I can do it, right? I mean, of course you can. No one else could, but that doesn't mean you should do it alone. I'm not alone, I've got you. And everyone else. We're all together. That's what we wanted, isn't it? I'm not locked up in a lab anymore. Aren't you happy for me? I'm happy for you. Are you really, really happy for me? I'm super happy for you, I really am. Are you scared of me now? No way, never. You're not something to be afraid of. That's wrong. You should be scared. I'm incredible. Okay, God. I'm at 000. Well, okay, so probably the plan is, probably pick the choices that will probably eventually lead us to the Celestial Mechanics ending, you know? That's probably what I'm gonna do. Because I've already done all the other endings, you know? Sort of, you know? I think it's, I don't know. I don't know for sure, but the way I feel, you know? How the game is kind of designed and everything, if I had to guess, it's kind of like the endings, you know, you get 3 endings depending on the character. Either you stick with your original faction or you go to the 2 other factions, you know, and you get like a very specific ending depending on that faction, right? I believe in the Saturn ending, technically we got the Cradle's Graces, right? Because that's what, in the end, we fulfilled the goal of what Pluto wanted, you know, everyone being, you know, in space rather than going back to Earth or doing anything else. Everyone is forced to interact with people in space. That's kind of like the Cradle's Graces ending. But of course, you know, we also get a little bit extra from Saturn herself because it was her like ending technically, or her route. So yeah, there's just like 3 variations of the same ending for each character, I think, is what, you know, how the game is designed. Anyway, let's see. Mission select. Saturn return. In the strange gravity of the abandoned Daphnis labs, our way lies away from the looming threat of Pluto's mysterious ship. What are they after? What will they get? Launch. As the nose bandage, the anime nose bandage that they will never take off because it's part of their personality. I don't know. Pluto, why are you suiting up? The Celestial Mechanics lab was wrecked and the prototype escaped. We should be heading back to the inner solar system. Oh, she's still here. Who? Some incredibly ridiculous, utterly irresponsible, dangerously devious brat. I am not who you're talking about, right? Don't be silly. You're not devious at all. Then who? Also, hey, you're being very tricky. So I can't quite tell, but I have a rough coordinates. Also, this shirt is just Cradle's Graces. That's just like your normal t-shirt. Everyone just gets a free t-shirt. It's literally just someone just wrote in markers Cradle's Graces. They slip between the cracks of the universe, play fast and loose with the laws of physics, staying hidden and out of sight, but being really smug about it. I think they're showing off. So it couldn't be anyone but the pilot of Celestial Mechanics' prototype, right? Why? That's stupid. What sort of pilot would be that responsible for a prototype? Hey Mars, when you were in the academy, how many prototype units did you wreck? Let's not talk about that now. I'm just teasing, Mars. You're much better behaved now. If the intel is true, the prototype is really powerful, even against you. I know. I might not be able to stop her. This location is the experimental lab. This location is the experimental lab. It was shut down right before Earth canceled the space program. I don't like this place, Pluto. It's like they shut down Daphne's lab and converted it into the perfect site for an ambush. Really? It's too much for me. Well, it's stronger than the fleet I destroyed. I mean, I'm not saying you're not strong enough, but a stealth mission against a secret weapon is different. No one knows what Celestial Mechanics is planning. It's always awful. It's definitely a trap. This mission to the other planets is only to destroy Celestial Mechanics' lab and prevent Memorial Foundation from recovering the prototype. Excuse me. Mars, if you keep trying to protect me, I'll get mad. But let me have the tiniest bit of fun. I'll be fine. After all, I have a lot of experience correcting unruly show-offs who act out for attention. Okay, we're back here. Daphnis, the tiny shepherd moon, so small it barely earns the name, tumbles through the Keller Gap, ruffling the rings of the planet in orbits. Houses the last official laboratory of Earth's decommissioned space program, training ground for flavor. Something in my throat. It houses the last official laboratory of Earth's decommissioned space program, training ground of failures like Saturn and special girls like Pluto. Saturn remembers of feeling cramped, anxious, and scary. Residues was special to be chosen. I think it's the same text as before. I think at the very beginning, you always get the same text in each scene. Later on, though, when you get to choose the decision, right from the get-go, there's no repeat scenes as long as you pick the ones that's different, that you didn't see before. Anyway, gravity is quietly degenerating. Distances are becoming ambiguous between past and present, between me and you. Again, I was like, me and you. What do you mean, me and you? Seems smaller Saturn now. Now it's time to to Pluto, and that's obvious. No longer people-sized. She tears through it like worms in an apple. I remember that. And the purple text saw before. Last time we played as Saturn. So. I know, extremely exciting. Her head hurts, eye with tears. Something that could be anyone other than Pluto. Cool, she must be pretty big, huh? I was laughing at me. This is the same scene as when we were playing Saturn. Again, I feel like only the very first scenes are always the same. The narrative. Okay, this time though, let's see. Probably gonna betray every time, as Pluto. Mutually assured destruction or narrow escape. It's easy as not to get caught if you don't care about catching anything. It's just knowing it's just about knowing there isn't a difference, and focusing deeper, and just see. The real celestial mechanics, the interactions of bodies in space via the forces of gravity, the weight of mass and culture. Explained by the story behind them, that's just science. With your own gravity, reach out and pull. Good girl. You know just what to do. Do you like what you caught? The current Immaculately towers over Saturn. Pluto's ship is so big it barely fits in the lab complex, but it's only a speck compared to how big it feels. Massive enough to warp local space-time, humming and vibrating of nebula dust, and absolutely effortlessly gentle. Without Pluto's most delicate touch, the current Immaculately would have destroyed Saturn and the whole complex without even trying. How much do you trust it? I knew you'd be right behind me, or something. If you did, how come you're not facing this way? I'm an idiot, I guess? You've come a long way just to be an idiot. You must know exactly what this ship can do, right? Did you come to find me on purpose? That's really brave, and really cute. If you can touch me, I can touch you. So I'm not getting close. Came all this way not even to fight. Oh, that's not cute at all, but it's smart. Hey, don't underestimate me. I'm scary. You think? Maybe I believe you. Cute things can also be scary. But I'm curious now. I was worried you were gonna waste your chance, smuggling your new machine, but you're pretty clever. You wanna talk without fighting? If you're good, otherwise I'll bite. So, what do you want to talk about? As Kratos graces glittering psychic death machine, you definitely have more important things to do than go out of your way to bully me for no reason, right? Well, that's right. That man and the fleet are escaping, aren't they? Hope you don't mind falling for this trap. Deja vu, I think this is the same dialogue. A trap? You? Silly, I know you're more important than that. More than catching the rest of the Celestial Mechanics fleet. I knew this would be fun, and you knew it too. I'm absolutely delighted about you doing that, just to be clear, so you don't have to read my mind to roast me about it. Again, it's very similar, I don't know. I can't read minds, you know that's not how it works. I also don't need to know that. But I did want to know how the biggest overachiever of my juniors turned into such a bad girl. If you really remember me, you remember I wasn't ever good. I do remember you. Even if you're not that good at being bad, do you know what you're doing? That machine that's so dangerous we don't even want to find out what it does. I think we read this before. I don't know. That's why I'm keeping it. I'm gonna stop me then, but you don't want to? Hey, stop, don't pry into me. If you pity me, I'll make you regret it. Now all of us come up perfect like you. Someone's get thrown out. I won't pity you. Run this machine apart. Gifted little mutant too. Gifted little mutant. Yeah, I remember that line. Gifted little mutant too. Gifted little mutant. Haven't been thrown out yet. Lab-grown girls should stick together. Granted, winning is the most important task. I'm kind of going for a little bit fast. I thought I picked a different option, right? Didn't I pick a different option? I swear I did. Right? So, because last time it was betray as Saturn. So if we betray again as Pluto, it's technically the other way around, right? I don't know. Getting crushed already. Don't worry. Nothing can make me regret. Yeah, same scene. That was the same exact scene. Okay. Weird. Alright. I was hoping for a new scene, right? But that was actually completely the same. Oh well. Regarding Immaculately. It was decommissioned, it was commissioned before I had a pilot. Before the technology for piloting had been developed. Before the technology for its workings had been developed, I think we recognized that the construction was an act of faith. Nix's directive was to create a sort of self that we wished to see. I think, of course, that was the moment that was clear to me that Nix was fighting for what she believed humans could do, but not who humans were. I think at the time I didn't understand the difference, or what Nix might not consider important because of her tendency to think this way. Many of the functions of the Immaculate have not been invented yet. It is limitlessly expandable. I have, of course, requested for it to be decommissioned, but I believe ultimately you'll want to scrap it. If this committee has indeed found nothing in space worth salvaging, I would have to wonder about the committee's intentions and their curiosity towards this last fragment. The end results of the Immaculately's functions are indistinguishable from Nix's dream, so there's no briefing I can provide that will be more comprehensive than the ones you receive from Nix herself. I can only speculate on what she has or has not been able to implement successfully. Successfully. As terrifying as the Immaculate is, the pilot Dr. Nix has found for it is much more terrifying. They might find a way to make it more even yet. Okay, that was by Europa, I guess. Tidal Theory and Celestial Mechanics, General Information Poll, Director of Celestial Mechanics Impetus. Let us begin with imagining an inert theoretical mass of matter, equivalent physically in all ways to the third body in the solar system, a theoretical planet Terra, absent of human culture. How would we model the physical properties of such a planet, where Jungian Newtian models do not apply? The soft science of celestial mechanics is not purely a thought exercise, but an inquiry into what, if any, default physical properties would exist in a universe without the influence of culture, because of its potential application in space colonization, for its use in modeling the physics of foreign celestial bodies, and the utility of the concept of Terra. He's talking about Terra. Theoretically, if Earth did not have humans on it, if it did not have quote-unquote culture, I guess, it would be Terra. It's only Earth because humans colonized it, I guess, in a way. The utility of the concept of Terra in the philosophical hard sciences for more precisely defining Earth as the lands of human dominion rather than a specific physical body. Celestial mechanics has been integrated as a branch of contemporary metacultural general relativity. What would it be like to imagine a world in which humans have one-to-one dominion over real phenomena? In such a world, we might think of gravity in multiple senses, since the agency of humanity over each other, mentally, spiritually, and culturally, would not be the same as physically. Okay? That's kind of like the theme that's been touched upon a little. You know, how everything like gravity and culture and all that, like a lot of the things we think are like, you know, kind of just like made up, you know, kind of, you know, like how society is kind of just made up, you know, like laws and rules, you know, and morals and all that. It's kind of, I mean, it's all made up really in our heads, but you know, we all decide, at least a majority of humanity all decide that it's real, you know, these laws. Like, for example, you shouldn't just, you know, if you murder someone, you know, you're gonna be charged with homicide or whatever. We just, you know, assume that's our, like we all agree that's what we should follow, right? Anyway, that's the idea. But then what happens if we connect our brains? I mean, I have to guess, but maybe like, you know, Mr. Ippitus. Like, what happens if we connect our brains, you know, and then we just make that reality? You know, things that we thought were made up actually become like actually, you know, a, like a thing in reality. I don't know. That's kind of hard to imagine, but you know, like what's reality? What's something we made up? A little bit like blurs together, and it becomes like as real as like the sky is blue. You know, like it becomes a real objective fact that the laws we make, or not just laws, because laws are just, you know, just an example. Like something that we think about is not just an imagination anymore. You know, it's something that we all believe in objectively because it's like real, I guess. I don't know, something like that. Anyway, the conversion of matter to energy, energy into culture, and culture back to matter again is complicated by distortions caused by culture's ability to arbitrarily set conversion parameters. A lot of jargon. This is caused not because of the power of human gravity, but actually by its weakness and incompleteness. In a theoretical universe in which humanity has full dominion over the physical universe, the influence of culture will be a one-to-one constant, and the physical universe would abide by inflexible, fundamental laws. In such a world, we would have to separate fields of study that involve metaphors from ones that describe the worldly phenomenon, because our world will be objectively determined. While humans will be able to disagree and defy each other, they would ascribe to an inflexible, perfect system as decided by humanity. Yeah, sort of like what I said, basically, but, you know, better, I guess. You know. So I imagine celestial mechanics, you know, maybe at least Ippitus's idea is like, what happens if we use the existential threat and use it as like a power source to make our brains, you know, connect to each other, and we just, you know, automatically decide certain things as like a consensus, I guess. You know, like a hive mind. I was saying like how Earth is kind of like a hive mind. Maybe Ippitus, you know, maybe the celestial mechanics are the hive mind people. I don't know. At least they want like a hive mind kind of thing. I wish you didn't have to do this, but I love chatting with you, especially about your latest sordid affairs. Well, thanks. Wait, that's not what I meant. And sordid? Dramatic? Tempest... I don't know how you say that. I don't know how you say that word. Tempestuous? Tempestuous? Explosive? No. Problematic? No. Tumultuous? That's sexier. But that's so bad. I mean, how would you describe them? Not like that. Intense or something. The last one was really good until the end. Should I be more generous? Well, it'd be nice. But you're not very good at relationships. Kill me. It's kinda cute. You love people so much that you forget about them completely. You honestly really hurt sometimes, you know? You fall for glittering faraway girls, but what you really need is someone who doesn't put up with you. There's gotta be someone, somewhere, who won't let you get away with anything. I believe in you. I'm trying to save the world. I don't really have time for this. That's my thought, by the way, of like all these like dialogue exchanges sometimes, you know? You try to like fight a war and save a world. Why are you gossiping about relationships? But I don't know. Anyway. Seems a bit, you know, like I don't know what the word is. I was gonna say out of touch. That's not the right word. You know, it seems like a tonal dissonance, I guess. You know, it's like mood whiplash, you know, sort of. You know, because a lot of scenes in this visual novel, they're like fighting and everything, and suddenly, you know, they're gossiping about their relationships with other people or with each other or whatever it is. You know, it's just like a 180. I don't know. Anyway, but you're not too busy to keep flirting. Pluto, God. Sorry, baby. No mercy for you. Or BB? It doesn't mean baby. Sorry, baby. Sorry, baby. It doesn't mean something else. I don't know. Well, when I say BB, I think of BB-chan. Anyway. It's out of love. One day you're gonna be as good at treating girls as you are piloting. Don't twist the knife. Sorry. It's fine. I know I'm not great at it. Hey, you did that thing again. What thing? You know, that thing. Where you changed the topic and forget what I wanted to talk to you about. So you don't have to answer, except I have a chat log and I can scroll back and see. Scroll back right now. I wish you didn't do this thing. I wish you didn't have to do this. But what? Anyway. It's sweet you wish I didn't have to fight. Oh, okay. Oh yeah, didn't have to like fight. Anyway. See, you do remember, and you remember better than I do. Why do we leave it at that? Why? Because there's nothing we can do about it. We could find a way. I don't want you to do this if you don't have to. Chat? No, I mean fight. You just did it again. I feel like that's the thing with, well, I mean, in a way, you know, how she always changes the topic. That's how I feel about generally this visual novel, you know? They change the topic a little bit too much that I forget what they're talking about, you know, as a reader. So I think that kind of demonstrates exactly how I feel about this visual novel, actually. You know, Pluto is the writer and I'm Mars. I'm like, you know, thinking that the conversation is going one direction and then it goes somewhere else and I forget what they're talking about originally and I get confused. That's what it is, actually. Anyway, let's save. Retrograde and retrograde. Lunatera and Pluto. Oop. They have history, and I guess all of them have history, because the idea is that they all come from like an academy. I guess they were all like pilots in the training academy, which would be interesting. Well, but then it'll be like a different story, I guess, because it'd be interesting if there was another visual novel that was just about that. You know, it would definitely be more cliche though, because it would feel like a high school, I guess. You know, it's just like a bunch of teenagers, just in like a school setting. You know, there's a million anime shows about that sort of thing. Like they just, I mean, yeah, like in general, like a lot of anime, romance, drama, you know, romance, comedy, whatever. You know, it's always in a school setting with teenagers, because that's the demographic, I guess. Anyway. Mars, are you okay? You look like someone punched you in the face. I mean, that bandage. Yes, someone did. It does look like someone punched them in the face. What happened? Someone punched me in the face. It's been so long since you got in a fight with the flight crew. It feels a little nostalgic. Yeah, flight crew. That's another thing. I feel like, I don't know. It's hard to imagine that there are like fleets and other ships out there, you know, and everything, and there's like other people besides the characters that we see. They mention it very, very little, but I don't know. I guess they just don't describe them very often. So that's why the characters, I feel like in this visual novel, it feels a little empty, you know? Even though there are other characters around, we just don't see them, you know? It feels a little nostalgic. I'm fine, by the way. People who start fights don't get sympathy. Well, they started when they wouldn't let me fly. And who threw the first punch? Well, that part doesn't matter. If they don't let me go, then you'll have to fight that traitor all by your... Ah, shit. Oh. Why didn't I feel it earlier? Of course she's here. It wasn't that I wasn't going to tell you. Memorial Foundation also knows about the prototype, and they sent their ace to get it. No, I understand. You were so excited you just had to run out and see her, huh? Got that right. Run on and punch that traitor Lunatera in the face as hard as I can. Oh yeah, I was wondering, why is Mars... Like, the name Mars is so familiar. I think it's one of the... Well, it's one of the... one of Lunatera's exes, if I had to guess. Aw, she's the worst. After pretending that she was going to fight for the colonies, even after Earth abandoned us, and the minute we come home, she double-crossed us. We were going to do this together. Or maybe not, I don't know. I feel like Mars was mentioned before. We just never saw the character. Until now. I've missed punching that insufferable smug face for a year. It's finally time to show whether we're not going to forgive her for betraying us at the worst moment, leaving us alone, barely able to keep fighting against Cradle's graces. But it's not like we ever needed her, and... I know. I miss her too. Are you not listening to me? I've been listening to the two of you say the same things about each other for a really long time, and it doesn't sound any different. It's nothing like it was before. I'm not playing games. When we were in the academy, you were always chasing after her. You'd swing the first punch, and she'd laugh, and you two would fight, and then you make out, and you do it all over again. Okay. So, yeah, okay. It is one of Lunatera's exes. I mean, everyone is just... I mean, I imagine everyone is just Lunatera's exes, you know? If you're like a woman, then you're just an ex of Lunatera. Maybe. I miss that so much, but if you go after her, it'll happen just like that all over again. Stop talking about me like I'm that predictable. It's different now. Orders are orders for a reason, you know. I'm still not okay with it. They're making you use that terrifying machine. It's way too dangerous. I'm sorry. I really am. But Mars, if it makes you feel any better... What? You're breaking... I can't wait to fight her. I love her, understand her, and forgive her. But I'm still mad. How come you both got to have all the fun? Who wants to stay home while you two get to fight and make out? You don't know how scary this machine is, Mars. And so much less scary than me. I don't want you to see me like that. But I really, really want Lunatera to see. Pluto, you cut off for a second there. What did you say? Oh, I said tough luck. It's my chance to shine now. Okay. Well, I imagine this scene is the same as well. Let's see. Like waking up underwater to the wet burn of your lungs, desperation for air, like floating on tethered in space. Losing the security of gravity. Gravity is necessary for human life in space. Gravity is very important. Not just, again, because the game keeps reinforcing this, but gravity is not just like physics, you know, it's more than that, I guess. It's life force. It's how you live in space, you know. I knew it. Lunatic. It's important to get a grip. Get a grip! Pew pew! Again, I wish there was more CG about, you know, the combat, you know, which she has, especially when Lunatera has like a freaking sniper rifle. I want to see the Mecha equipped with a sniper rifle, you know? Flying to Pluto's gravity well. Who will make the first move? Entire punches the last armor lamp, opens up the terminal cavern, light spills out. Okay. Again, I'm going a bit fast because I already read this part. She's a star. She's as powerful as a star, I guess. She's quite powerful. I mean, a star is like the sun, you know. She's basically as powerful as the literal sun. You imagine that is very powerful. Tell you what, did I betray you? No. I mean, of course I'm not mad at you. Rather, I am mad at you. I forgive you. Just mad at you for not having faith in yourself to see it through. Leave all the work to me. Took the realistic option. If you like this, I wouldn't have to fight. It'll change you in ways you don't understand. The scar? How did she get the scar? I don't think it's ever explained. I don't know. I think it was described in the Mecha that there's a scar on the robot itself. You know, that's kind of like, I mean, it's kind of like a metaphor for like a mental scar, I guess. But also, she has a physical scar on her face, so I don't know what that is. When did she get that? I have no idea. Anyway, let's see. So, Before, when we were Lunaterra, we chose this one. Yeah, because, you know, we were favoring the Memorial Foundation. But this time, Lunaterra gets school, because hopefully this will create a different scene, maybe. It might be the same as Saturn's scene as well, where it's mostly the same. You know, the story doesn't really branch off in the very beginning too much. Let's see. As soon as Pluto blinks, that's the moment the Mayor Christian attacks, a little out of fear, mostly out of awe. It's a confused move, the first move, which is so unlike her. So unlike her that it nearly takes Immaculately by surprise. All matter parts along the vectors of inertia that Pluto has set, with these bullets stubbornly curved, bury into her flank and sting, with a sharp and subtle gravity of their own. Ow, that kind of stings, Lunati. Stop doing things like that. Lunaterra is crushed instantly and she's dead. The end. Game over. No. Lunaterra dodged the last second. No. The Mayor Christian is torn apart from every joint. No. Lunaterra is safe at home. She never left. No. Lunaterra hasn't moved, and it's only because she can't bring herself to. Lunaterra is feeling ghosts of the space-times that Pluto has cut off. Escape routes she rushed for but don't exist. Lunaterra is trying to think of something to say. She really is, but it's impossible. Because Immaculately is the size of the universe. Her seeping nebula glows on a promise to swallow up the space station, Lunaterra, and the whole solar system. I guess her power is to literally control, that's what it said, right? Control space and time. She literally destroyed entire timelines before Lunaterra could even do anything, maybe. But that's not the way, Lunati. You have to come for me like you really mean it, or that's what's gonna happen. The Mayor Christian's engines spin to no response. Lunaterra's mind is racing, but there's no thought she can hold on to, except how disappointed and sad Pluto is. If you give me just one moment, you'll pass my event horizon, and you'll never escape. Always getting closer, but never getting there, falling forever. If you don't figure out how to unstick yourself, I might leave you there. Remember for next time, okay? Don't keep breaking my heart. The Mayor Christian plummets, and the Immaculately rises up, exiting the moon like a shooting star, tearing the lab up into the space with her. Oh, okay. Yeah, she gets yeeted away. Hello, Oni-chan wannabe. Play Celeste? Yeah, I think I've heard of Celeste before. It's like a platformer kind of game. I don't know. To be honest, I don't really like platformers though. Even though I've heard Celeste is a very good game. And everything. I might not play it because it's a platformer. It's very rare that I get into a platformer. I don't know. Maybe if I ever feel like playing a platformer. But it's a low probability, I guess. All missions on Cronus orbit completed. Maiden flight and testing of Immaculately is done. Report received. Awaiting new directives. I'm heading back to Ares, of course. It's the home of Cradle's graces after all. We have to finish up the last touches of Immaculately and prepare for the last battle on Earth's moon. Celestial mechanics will regroup and refuel there, and maybe we can nip them in the bud. And Mora Foundation has been fighting us there since the conflict began, and maybe this time we can push them back. Send a message to everyone. Time to come home, so we can be ready for the journey. Ready for launch. She's giving her... it makes sense because we learned that she's basically the leader of Cradle's graces, you know? She's the one in charge. At least, you know, she can do anything she wants anyway. So, she's just giving herself missions. She's ordering other people. Unlike the other two pilots where they are always being ordered, you know, by other people, by commanders. Pilot interfacing. Direct message from Mars. Okay, well, so the very first thing you need to know about pilot interfacing is that it's the most important part of piloting. You don't really have to know any of this stuff, but since you asked, I'll give you the basic rundown. There are actually a few ways it's useful to know, There are actually a few ways it's useful to know, even if it's basically just to explain why no one can do anything to stop you because of the completely unfair bullshit you have. Any given ship self may have a variety of prescribed functions, you know. That's called the machine's intent. It's not that the machine has consciousness, even if it seems like it does. That's just projection and inaccurate metaphor. Even if you're just using a made-to-order ship for you alone or customizing it for that purpose, you still have to bring your intentions in line with the crafts. That's what interfacing really means. That's why interfacing is the most important part of piloting, and why basically the only thing the R&D crews do is to find better ways to reduce the lag. That's kind of like, it reminds me of Mary Christian actually, how Lunaterra interfaces with her machine is a lot more, I guess, crude. The way she does it is very like traditional in the way of like, doing every manual thing, pushing switches, moving joysticks and everything. But a lot of the modern, giant robots, the modern like ship cells, like the Macula and Saturn's like prototype robot. Those ones you just simply like connect your mind, with the robot, and they just do what you want, right? Basically, is the idea. White Void. Tidal Mechanics Research Archives by Dr. Nix. The fearful power of it is evident, so much that I hesitate to even criticize it. It is the nature of the tyrant theory that it is fed by all things, including attempts to dismantle it. It could simply assimilate those theories and absolve itself of potential guilt and rhetorical weakness by assuming new forms, because it has no inherent premise that is not fungible? Fungible? I don't know what fungible is. Fungible? With an impulse to make all else part of it. Because when I think fung, I think fungus? No, that's not right. I don't think that's right? Fungible? Far from expanding to incorporate diverse and contradictory ideas into itself, the theory would remove alternate quantum states until finding a solution that would incorporate perfectly in line with the unified culture theory. This is necessary and an inherent step, because in order to prevent any given feature of such a theoretical culture to be subject to aversion, the gravitational pull of the culture must be so great that no information about it can escape. It's so weird. This is a lot of like scientific, mumbo jumbo pseudoscience. But the gravitational pull of gravity must be so great that no information can escape. That reminds me of a black hole, actually. A black hole is like in real life. A black hole has so much gravitational force that not even light can escape it. Like nothing can escape it. That's how strong a black hole is, in theory, I guess. As the theory accumulates culture through culture mass energy conversion, its gravity will steadily begin to grow and its energy decrease, until it began to continuously collapse into a single coordinate and no distinguishing information will be able to escape. The interplay of variant states is necessary for culture to create and change, and the unified field culture will be unable to do so. It would only be able to assimilate and devour. Such a theory would not redefine hierarchy, but enshrine it forever. Far from a passionate future for humanity, it would necessitate the complete removal of human variance. All humanity and all existence would revolve around the singularity of the unified field culture, the tyrant theory, a white void, a single conqueror thought at the center of the universe. Okay? A white void. So I guess that's one possibility of like using the gravity well, maybe, make everything assimilate to it, and then it becomes one thing, instead of like remaking a hierarchy, it would just enshrine it, make it like a permanent hierarchy, I guess, which is not what we want, obviously. Because again, a lot of this like pseudoscience or whatever, a lot of this mumbo jumbo, it's kind of like it's a metaphor for like how society works, I guess. So it's like what if society was a real tangible, thing that you can like observe with like a telescope or rather a microscope even, and like you can change or whatever and use it as like a actual like physics thing. I don't know how to explain it exactly, but yeah. White void. What happens if culture gets sucked up into like one thing and then it turns into like a black hole, right? We would not want that for human civilization, I guess, is what Dr. Nix is saying. Are you scared? Yeah, you? Yeah, but I'm excited too. I'm looking forward to what we could be. Hey Pluto, how can you be sure? Sure about what? Sure about anything. Everything is so frustrating, pointless, doomed. No matter how hard I fight, it stays that way. So how can you be sure it's not going to be that way someday? You're the person I want to ask that. Because you fight every day like you're not thinking about those things. What's that supposed to mean? I've got to fight. That's what we have to do. Of course, I still think about those things, even when I'm fighting. Sorry, Mars, of course you do. Everyone has doubts like that. I don't know, just a random thought. This face kind of, the way the avatars are slightly different from the face we always see in the cockpit. But this face just kind of reminds me of Cleopatra for some reason. Like fake Go, or I guess Cleopatra in general, maybe. But I don't know, just specifically like fake Grand Order. Anyway, everyone has doubts like that. Even me then, right? But it doesn't feel like you do. I mean, you make it seem like everything's gonna be alright. But you just have to do what you have to, without even worrying about it. Without even worrying about whether it's right or wrong, or right or not, or if it will come to anything or not. You're a genius, You're smarter than me. That's not true. I just have to stop thinking if I want to just do whatever that needs doing. I put myself on pause, don't you? Maybe that's why I'm still so scared. Okay. I don't need all these saves, but oh well. I'll make new saves. Alright. New set of missions. Deep dive. The Oxygen Ocean. They didn't really explain the Oxygen Ocean. What is the Oxygen Ocean? That is an interesting concept. Oxygen Ocean? As in like an ocean is made from oxygen? Or is it like just like, it says like a fuel yard and a terraforming engine. Maybe it's just a name for something, not literally an ocean. But I don't know. Is she operational? Mars. All checks clear. Honey. Dual tidal resonator sync clears all checks. It's close enough to Terra Moon inside out. And you're really still sure about this? Mars, I love you very much, and I'm going to scream if you ask one more question. What? Ah, Pluto! Sorry, I couldn't back off after saying that. My soul hurts. Why did you do that? Because you didn't listen to me. I was listening. You didn't listen. You got such a big heart, you don't listen with it at all. I don't want you to go. Well, that's better. If it's what you really wanted to say, I'm glad you could say it. But you're not going to listen to it. Nope. The hypocrite. Well, you could at least, after you just said, not at all. No, Salt. This was always the plan. We have to show everyone what this weapon can actually do. This is just a taste. But no one's going to respect what we do on the moon if we can't grab their attention first. Destroying the whole Celestial Mechanics fleet while they're docked at the Oxygen Ocean is going to get some attention. Even if I only destroy them a little bit, it'll be pretty amazing, so it's a job that's impossible to mess up. If you keep worrying, what else am I supposed to think except I must seem that incompetent to you? I care, okay? I'm not mad, Mars. But let me lean on you while I do this, instead of blocking my way.